Hello and welcome to another podcast, another talk about Star Citizen with me and Zin, some maybe hot takes, some maybe drama, some other stuff, news, and our opinions on that. I'm not sure if it's going to be news informative, I'm not sure if it's going to make your lives or day any better. In fact, it'll probably take something away from you. Time that you can never get back, but you can still listen to us. Say hello, Zin.
Hello, Zin.
She's here. Zin took some of my time away just before the podcast started, which maybe I will share with people in the future. But let's start. Fire Sprite drama. It's not really drama at all, but it seems to have evolved into some form of drama. So Fire Sprite, little studio that works for CIG on Theatres of War, they got bought by Sony, sort of. They are originally sort of an ex-Sony studio full of ex-Sony devs. That's what you said, wasn't it, Zin, when we looked into it?
Yes, so they were founding members of Studio Liverpool, which made some epic games such as Wipeout.
And she doesn't mean epic games as in epic games. She means some games that are epic.
Yes.
And Wipeout is a game that I would also classify as epic.
So I think the original team was Psygnosis or something like that. They did Wipeout maybe 1 to 3, and then became Studio Liverpool and did Wipeout Fusion.
And then eventually, Sony just closed them down, or we're no longer continue with the studio?
Something like that. Can't remember exactly, but yeah, sounds about right.
And Fire Sprite started from those guys, or at least some of them that were wanted to do their own studio. So it's mostly ex-Sony devs.
Sounds about right.
Okay, so basically, Sony have reoccupied the studio. They seem to have be working with them directly again. I think they've bought them, although I didn't have any direct confirmation of that. I know that they are working together now. They're part of the Sony studio family. That's basically what they said in a tweet, and that has caused some confusion in the Star Citizen community, who are like, well, aren't these guys supposed to be working on Star Marine and Arena Commander and Theatres of War, which is the sort of more Battlefield-esque section, sort of arcade experience, sort of separate from the persistent universe of Star Citizen. So lots of people having wild speculation, and I tweeted Xylo and said, you guys still working together? And he said, yeah, business as usual. You can check on the roadmap to see what their team's doing. And I did, and they're doing stuff into June 2022. But people still got quite grumpy. And on my Twitter feed from that, admittedly, I don't tweet CIG much to ask them questions, but I thought it was important because I had so many questions about it that I wanted something more public. A lot of people just asking, when is HOTAS coming? When is FOIP camera coming? When is game finished? So that's a bit weird. What do you think? Do you think it was any drama at all there, Zin? Do you think there was anything to be concerned about with Fire Sprite going over to Sony?
No, I can't imagine so. I would assume that part of the agreement, or, well, not really part of the agreement, something that Sony are just going to have to deal with, is that any pre-existing contracts that Fire Sprite have with anybody else would have to be honoured. That's just how it goes.
That's the assumption, or they'd buy out of the contract, I suppose, is the other option. Yeah. I think some people are maybe potentially worried that Fire Sprite are just contracted for a short period of time and CIG won't be able to contract them again, even if it's to finish off the project, or Fire Sprite might rush to finish off an agreement with CIG and not get work done as well. But I think that's sort of like odd edge case worries. But I suppose only time will tell. But yeah, I think that was just overblown drama that I just saw oddly posted in a lot of places. Something that's not really drama, but people are being dramatic about as well, is the wipe. The wipe's coming.
I like how you've capitalised the W on this as well.
Yeah, it's the wipe, Sin. It's the wipe. I mean, I probably should have just said that on my video that I did about it earlier. Should have just been called
The wipe is coming! The wipe is coming!
So, we have not had a Star Citizen persistence wipe for 18 months. And I don't think anyone thought, oh, well, that's not entirely true. There have been bugs and stuff which have caused people to lose things, which they could probably consider wipes. But 18 months we haven't had a persistence wipe. So that's all your Alpha UEC. That's all your items that you've got in-game. That's all your ships that you've ground up for in-game, but not any of the stuff that you've bought with real money, for the most part.
Also, your reputation.
Your reputation's getting wiped as well. That is a good point. And your merits. if you've got your billions of merits that you've been harvested so you can get out of jail effectively anytime you want, well, that's no longer a thing. I've said a bit of a warning in one of my other videos about the wipe, basically saying, look, don't buy Alpha UEC from eBay or other sources because it's volatile. It just gets deleted occasionally, like with this wipe, but everything's getting wiped with 3.15. Again, except for you bought with real money stuff, and we're going to be starting again, but they'll be able to wipe in the future items and ships separately from Alpha UEC, and merits, which is your wallet, from reputation. So they're all sort of 3 microservices which are all separate. What do you think about wipes then? Do you think it's going to be good for the game? Do you think it's going to be a big rush? Do you think that people are going to be sort of depressed by it and go like, I don't want to play and grind up again?
I think it'll be a good experience for people, because I think it'll probably affect mostly clans who have like sort of grinded together to achieve like monetary values and ships and stuff, and obviously that's all going to go. But it's be a great chance for them to get back together and do that stuff again.
Yeah, orcs that mine together, grind together.
Yes.
That's the best I could come up with. But obviously when Zin says clan, she means... Well, I mean, clan is actually totally appropriate for an orc, to be honest.
Organisation, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same thing, pretty much. Yeah, I think there's going to be a big mixed bag. I think there's going to be a lot of people complaining about, oh my god, I've lost 4 million UEC. That's not actually that much.
No.
You can grind that pretty quick. And yes, some people that have gone out and tried to get a carrot or an 890 jump or something, if you've just got it, you're going to be sad. You're going to do a sad face. But we knew that wipes were coming, and it's quite possible that there'll be another 18 months before another wipe of your assets, although it's much more likely that they're going to wipe when we see things like server meshing in the future and that sort of stuff.
I was just going to say that also there's the likelihood of actually getting your rewards from the Xenothreat.
Yeah, so the armor reward, that was attributed to your account. So anything that's a promo item, anything that you've got attributed to your account that's on your RSI website account, that should be, that won't be deleted. But CIG also said, yeah, we're looking at potentially giving people that participated in the Xenothreat some extra money. So I'm not sure if it's going to be the money that you're owed or just a token amount for anyone that got involved.
I mean, it's entirely possible that you could get the money that you earned during that thing, because they could just go back and look at their database and go, well, we'll just grab this and then copy paste it into the new database.
Yeah, well, so, but then people would go, well, why don't you just copy all of the assets and money across? And CIG did basically say they wanted to start again afresh to see how players would react and to get a better sort of signifier for the economy and stuff. And obviously, we're going to be getting some new missions, and they want to balance these sort of mission prices and the amount of money you make from them, I suppose is what I'm trying to say. And they can't really do that if everyone's got... Some people have got huge amounts of money, some people have got none, and there's a static economy. Actually, to be honest, I don't think they can really balance it properly while there's a static economy. But I think an occasional wipe's probably quite good. When we used to enjoy a wipe in Rust when we played Rust, didn't we? Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, Zin didn't really enjoy Rust too much. I got too stressed. And she had too much anxiety, not because I was stressed, but because Rust is a stress-inducing game. But something else that's less stress-inducing? Weird segue. Medical gameplay in 3.15. We had postulated that there probably was going to be a downed mechanic. Like the last time we talked, I think we said we hoped there was a downed mechanic.
Yeah.
And it's been definitely revealed that there is a downed mechanic now in 3.15 as part of the medical gameplay. So the sort of more bigger reveals for medical gameplay recently have been injuries, which can be treated by drugs and by hospitals and medbeds, different levels of injury, all part of that tiering system that we've heard previously with minor, moderate, and then major injuries, which, based on what location you get them in, will affect your character in some way. Like, you can have a broken arm, which is going to affect you carrying things and shooting things and using things. You can't even use a ladder if you've got a broken arm. Not good. But if you've got broken legs, you're going to be crawling everywhere. Not great. But people can treat those with the medical gun and drugs and that sort of stuff. So I really like that, and I love the idea of a down state, because then it's going to be me and Zin playing in the game, and me go, Zin, Zin! I need medicines. My legs are falling
Come
off.
get me up! I'm falling over and I can't get up.
But when you're clearing out an underground bunker, when you're doing a mission together, when you're running a multi-cruise ship and then going into an underground bunker and doing FPS stuff, it's going to be so much more effective being in a team. There's going to be not just, oh no, I'm dead. It's going to be, bam, I can still be got back up. And I think that's great. And that's going to make PvP very interesting in the future as well, when two teams are fighting each other, because, well, if you don't wipe those guys out, they're going to be getting up. And they might not be fully effective when they get back up, because they've been injured and their health's going to be pretty low. But yeah, I just like this. I wanted a downstate for ages, and the idea that people can come and rescue you. Like, do you think people are going to actively rescue solo players, or are they just going to come, shoot them in the head and rob them?
A little bit of A, a little bit B.
It is, isn't it? It's going to be both. It's going to be like, oh, this guy's got fully gold armor on. Well, there's the looting mechanics now in.
Yeah.
And we don't know to what extent at time of recording the looting mechanics for 3.15 are going to be. We know that there's obviously looting containers, and we know that there's the new inventory system, but exactly what we can loot from players, other than sort of like picking up their guns that they had on them, we don't know yet. But you might know more than us by the time you listen to this.
Here's an interesting idea.
Yeah?
So, you know, like in Cyberpunk, we have to go and rescue that woman who was being organ harvested or implant harvested. I can't remember what it was.
Yes, at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, pretty near the beginning of the game. And she's basically got insurance, so they'd blocked the thing that was like pinging for her to have assistance, basically. And as soon as you removed that block, the people came in to like take her away and give her medical aid.
So they were a private medical like security company, sort of hybrid. Wouldn't
it be cool if there was a faction in Star Citizen that you could get reputation with and become kind of one of those people? So somebody would send out a beacon, but only to like their medical people. So it wouldn't be a galaxy-wide beacon or whatever, or system-wide beacon. And then you'd get a mission option of going to rescue this person. But because you've got this reputation, they can be assured that you're going to go there to help them and not shoot them in the head.
Well, both you and me are oddly pro-healer, aren't we?
Yeah. I'd probably, if I was nearby and I had some time to spare, I'd probably go and rescue some people.
Well, I think maybe we start flying around in the Cutlass Reds doing that.
Yeah.
Nino. I think that would be pretty cool, and that's probably a lot of gameplay in 3.15 will be the Nino Brigade. Although people might want to die and respawn if they just hear us going, Nino. Well, we're taking them anywhere. It's a fate to worse than having to respawn. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to a medical gameplay. I think it's going to bring a lot to the game, and it's going to make players act a lot differently, potentially. So we'll have to wait and see, I suppose. So something I wanted to talk about a little bit, Richard Tyree semi-recently talked about big changes to their sort of release strategy for the Persistent Universe, basically saying, look, we're going to be putting new features into Squadron 42 first, refining them, make sure they work, get some tangible gameplay to them before we get them put in the Persistent Universe, because we don't want isolated game elements that have no other tangible gameplay to them. So things like trolleys and melee, things like that they go, why have we got them in game yet? Well, features are coming to them later. Cool, when we get around to it. So it will minimise that. What do you think of that as a concept?
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, even though it's going to cause some short-term delay.
Yeah.
Probably more specifically to 3.16. Cool.
Yeah. We've had a lot of things recently that they've added, and then we've just gone, well, what was the point of that?
Yeah.
You know, I'd rather not have it if that's the case.
Well, it just seems weird to have them in isolation. I've got melee. When do I use melee? I've used melee once by accident. Or I've done a couple of takedowns, and actually, admittedly, for 3.15, they are supposed to have infiltration missions, so I might be using melee takedowns to take someone down.
Mm-hmm.
Like properly, rather than just as a BM. So, yeah, maybe. But, yeah, I think 3.16 is going to see massive changes on the roadmap. What you see for it now, other than probably the ships, I would expect to hugely get changed. And a lot of what we might see at CitizenCon might also be stuff that then go, this is in 3.16 for the end of the year. You're pretty chill about delays, but I suppose you haven't really been with like working on Star Citizen as like in the way I have as a content creator for many years.
I've been here a year.
You've been here a year now. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my! And I don't even know, 7 maybe. I've been making videos on Star Citizen.
I mean,
I'm gonna be, oh, you young'uns! I remember when Star Citizen was on Kickstarter.
I'm fairly certain you were doing it when I first met you, which was probably about 7 years ago, maybe a little bit longer.
I think that it was a little while after I met you that I decided to go full Star Citizen.
Okay.
We were doing Titanfall, Diablo 3. I did a little bit of NS2. We did a little bit of some random games. Oh, how time flies! And by time flies, I mean it's been an arduous, long process.
But yeah, I suppose I haven't been sitting around waiting for all these things that you guys were told you would get to actually come to fruition. So yeah, I'm a bit chill with delays and whatnot.
And I suppose you now see Star Citizen as a bit differently as well. Like, whereas before you would have probably seen it as, oh my god, it's still not done. Now that you look at it and you can see the progress from week to week, I think you're sort of like much more likely to defend Star Citizen against people that are being a bit too extreme.
Yeah,
even your
I'm
partner,
far less jaded.
Even DC, he is the most jaded man that exists.
He's practically green.
He's practically a rare gem. Okay, so what do you think, or what do you want to be shown at CitizenCon? What would you like to see?
Squadron 42.
So you just want the start of the Squadron 42 campaign, or just a section of Squadron 42 that looks complete? What?
I don't know. Anything. Like, I know they've kind of taken the stance now that they don't want to show anything until they're sort of kind of ready to push it out to live. But I guess if they show it at CitizenCon, then that means that they're ready to push it. You know, we may get it next year.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we get it next year, at Squadron 42. I'm not sure if it's optimistic or not anymore. It's hard to tell. I would like to see the start of a Squadron 42 marketing campaign at CitizenCon, and them to show us some bits of Squadron 42. Because at the moment, the only Squadron 42 info we're getting is from the monthly reports, and it's quite minimal. Which is why I've sort of blended them together with the AI stuff in the reports as well.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty excited for Squadron 42. I think it's going to genuinely be a great game, and they've got all of the makings of a genuinely masterpiece game there, along with sort of like more movie-esque elements and the right sort of characters for that. But a lot of their pro stars, a lot of their star people that were in sort of Game of Thrones and in sci-fi and stuff, they're aging, so as in they're not in the public eye anymore. Whereas previously they would have been like, oh my god, look at all these people. Some of them are sort of fading slightly more into obscurity.
Yeah. But to be fair, they've got enough, I think, like people who have been there long term that they'll never really fade.
Yeah, that's cool. I see what you mean.
And I was
Harry Oldman and Gillian Anderson.
Yeah. And I was kind of contemplating this as well, because I was like, oh, surely if they ever need to do anything else, these people are getting older and older, you know, and they're not exactly young, some of them. But then I was like, duh, they're CGI. It doesn't matter if they're getting older IRL, because it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
They just need their voice lines if they want to use that character, and they don't have to use that character because it can be, they can change where it's set. They can have you on a different ship.
Mm-hmm.
There's a load of stuff they can do in the future. Yeah, I mean, CitizenCon, I'm super excited about whatever gameplay demo they show, because typically they're fantastic.
Yeah.
Obviously, some of the stuff that was shown in 2019 still has not materialized fully yet, but infiltrate and defend missions does sound like a little bit, because we saw basically what was an infiltrate mission in 2019. Maybe it's the time to show that stuff off. And yeah, I hope we just get to see some cool ships and some great presentations, and hopefully you'll get to see mine and Zin's special ad that we put in for CitizenCon competition for the video, which we thought was funny, but maybe you won't. I don't know.
I mean, all of our friends also thought it was brilliant and funny, so
yeah, but our friends don't have much taste, and neither do we.
No.
So,
also jump points and other star systems.
Yeah, so that would be tasty, wouldn't it?
They've been talking a lot about it. They've been putting a lot of development time into it. So it'd be great. Like even if again it's not something that we're gonna get anytime soon, but just seeing progression on that front would be nice at CitizenCon.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much work that's gone into Nyx and Pyro, and they did say on the sort of main CitizenCon page at the moment, it's going to be out of this world or maybe out of this system. So I'm not sure if it's just sort of pun or if it's, yeah, we're going to see Pyro, we're going to see Nyx. But also, if you look at some of the stuff on the roadmap, it looks like they probably want to show off animals in some form, and they keep on mentioning space whales. We might not have space whale gameplay, but I do think they want to show them off in the background. Maybe it starts or ends in a hospital on Horizon, and you see a whale floating by. Like, that would be cool. I want to see space whales in.
Yeah. All we've had so far is a statue, some plushies, and a mascot, which we haven't seen in game yet.
Yeah. I want the mascot suit. I want it. I want to wear it as my main armor.
Can we have that as our search and rescue armor?
Oh my god.
Go and rescue people. Nino.
Nino.
Pair of whales just running around.
Space whale search and rescue.
Yeah.
Nino. Oh my god. Okay, yeah. That's it. Perfect. That's what we're doing. That's the whole of our 3.15 content right there. Ship Showdown. Let's move on to this. Have you been surprised at all by any of the victors? Or the... Oh! At time of recording, the Gladius is about to lose to the Saber. It's 1 minute 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
I love the Gladius and the Saber, but I think the Saber's probably my favourite medium fighter. So the winners we've had so far are the Hercules C2 versus the Caterpillar, the Reclaimer one against the Mole, the Carrack one against the Constellation Andromeda, the Cargo Argo one against the Freelancer Max, which I'm not
Cargo.
Cargo, yeah.
You said Cargo Argo.
Argo. What's the problem?
It's the Argo Cargo.
It's the MPUV cargo, actually.
Okay.
It's the Argo MPUV cargo.
Well, anyway, it won.
It won, and I'm not too surprised about that, because I'm not a fan of the Freelancer Max. The Cutlass Black lost against the 600i, which I was sad about, because I'm a massive fan of the Cutlass Black, but it only lost by like 100 votes. It was like 10,300 to 10,400. The Retaliator Bomber beat the Banu Defender. The page is just refreshed because the Sabre has just won.
Yeah, it has.
So it just literally took it away from me, the page. The Mercury Star Runner beat the Razor.
Unsurprisingly. That just seems like the most ridiculous pair-up for this so far that I've seen.
And the Sabre just beat the Gladius. Now, this is going to put the Hercules C2 versus the Reclaimer, the Carrack versus the Cargo, and Argo Cargo. And Xylo has said, look, if the Argo Cargo beats the Carrack, he will effectively cosplay. That's how I read it in his tweet, as an Argo Cargo.
It was face paint.
Yeah, he has to cosplay as well. I'll make him, don't you worry. So that's how we... and I think that it doesn't really matter if Xylo says that, because people will still vote on that Carrack. I love the Carrack. It's my second favourite ship that's flyable, Mercury Star Runner being the first. But also, after that, we've got the 600i versus the Retaliator Bomber, and the Mercury Star Runner versus the Sabre. Interesting lineup. I don't know who's going to win against the C2 versus the Reclaimer. Probably the C2 because it's newer and lots of people love it.
Mm-hmm. Hercules is a very nice ship.
Yeah, if the Reclaimer had its salvage mechanics, I probably would vote on the Reclaimer every time. I'd expect to see the Carrack beat the Argo Cargo, and the 600i to beat the Retaliator. Mercury Star Runner versus Sabre. Probably Mercury Star Runner.
Yeah.
Although a lot of people do like the Sabre.
But the thing is, the Mercury Star Runner is great as a small multi-crew ship, but also just as a solo ship too.
Yeah. So I love the Mercury Star Runner because it's got really cool tech setup. It's got all the buttons work, all the door locks work. It's got the sort of secret hidey holes which you can sort of open up if you know where the panels are. Get into the vents of the ship. There's the chessboard which has little secrets to it, and you can move the chess stuff around. And it's generally a good looking ship, and the promise to in the future that it's going to have the data running sort of mechanics. So it's sort of got everything, including a mechanic that's not finished that you want, oddly, which is different from the Reclaimer in the fact that the Reclaimer goes, well, all the mechanics that you'd want this ship for while you're waiting on. What's your favourite ship there, Zin?
Out of the 16?
Out of the 8 that have
Oh,
now
the 8
won.
that are now here.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the Mercury Star Runner.
Good choice.
Either that or the
Good
Hercules.
choice. I'm upset that the Cutlass Red and the Cutlass Blue aren't on here.
Mm-hmm.
Which is sad. But Nino. We'll have to bring the red and blue. I think that's all really for today. Me and Zin are going to get back to doing a mixture of playing Stardew Valley and making videos for you guys. And yeah, say goodbye, Zin.
Goodbye, Zin.
Thanks for watching. Very much appreciated. If you've got any particular topics that you'd like me and Zin to discuss, other than just generally having a bit of a chat about Star Citizen news and what's been going on, and then please chuck it in the comments below. Thanks very much for your support. Please click the join button to help support the channel more, or Patreon, or I know, send food. Thanks very much for watching. Love you guys. Hope you enjoyed. Talk soon. Love you. Bye. Some people say I shill for NordVPN, but listen to some of these comments that I just made up. I've never fed the love of a woman before, but then I got NordVPN, and that didn't matter. Doctor said I'd never walk again, but then I got NordVPN. Now I've been running marathons. Also, I got robot legs around the same time. They might have helped somewhat too. I was a tone-deaf pirate, but after getting NordVPN, I'm able to play the saxophone. Go on, Zin, try and animate all of this. Click the links below to get NordVPN. It might lead you to a more fulfilling life, but more likely, it will just help protect you from the terrors of the internet. Every month we have a ship giveaway. For September, it's for another Mercury Star Runner. I love that ship. It's a great way to try a huge portion of Star Citizen's gameplay. If you want a chance of winning that, just comment on any of my videos made during the month. If you'd like to further support the channel, be sure to check out that join button underneath my videos. There's also links to my Patreon, which also helps loads as well, direct donations, and just commenting, subscribing, liking, all that sort of jazz goes a huge way to helping the channel. Thank you so much for watching, guys. You take care, and I hope to see you in the verse. Hello and welcome. No, what? What is it, woman?
You know you can carry on talking even if I happen to talk over you. They
No,
are on
'cause
separate channels.
It interrupts my brain. My brain implodes. How am I supposed to talk over a woman? What is this in? What?
No,
What is this in?
that was it. Come on, let's go.
No. What did you exclaim? You have to tell me now.
I can't remember now.
You can't remember?
Nope.
Oh, it must have been important.
Very.
Right.
Let's go.
Hi. Zin, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, you ready?
Yep, I'm gonna shut up now.